Have you noticed the increasing price of gas for your car these days? It is only going to keep increasing if we don't find an alternative to fossil fuels. One of the popular ideas of replacing fossil fuels is with environmentally friendly biofuels from the sugar extractions of plants. At the University of British Columbia, Gabriel, a graduate student, and his colleagues set out to study the secretion of polysaccharides in plants. They looked at a specific gene involved in the regulation of plant secretion, and this gene is called the echidna gene. Gabriel and his team knocked off the echidna gene in the plant seeds, and they used special techniques to obtain the mutants for their study.
We take out the seeds and we freeze them, so with a high pressure freezing machine, which freezes you with liquid nitrogen at a very high speed. And it makes a big noise. And what it does is that it freezes it exactly at that moment without making any crystal inside of the cell, right? Because if you freeze anything in your freezer, then there will be crystal that will grow all around, and that will disrupt the material. So we take the growing seed while they're developing, we high pressure freeze them, and then we put them in a resin. And the resin slowly goes inside the seeds. And since there was no disruption or anything, you should obtain a seed that is pretty intact, but that will be solid, so pretty hard, and you can section it after that.
Gabriel and his team found that in the mutants, polysaccharides accumulate inside the cell rather than being transported to the cell wall. The results suggest that the echidna gene plays a vital role in the secretion of sugars.
I think what is important is that the secretion of the material in the cell wall, so this material that will be used for building houses or creating biofuel and many other applications, well, knowing the secretion pathway of this will help us maybe engineer or find in nature plants that have higher secretion of this cell wall, and so we could increase potentially the secretion of the material, which genetically engineer plants that will produce a better, higher yield of cell wall, or a specific cell wall that is more rigid or more resistant to other things, or less resistant, to be able to break it down easily when we want to produce biofuel. So there's different things.
With the understanding of the general secretory pathway of plants, we can now find ways to modify the plants to produce higher yield of sugar, and consequently increase the production of biofuels, which can replace the traditional use of fossil fuels for energy.